Welcome back, dear students. Again, we are at the same level where we have left our debate on the syntactic level. Our next units of grammar would contain the group and phrase, group or phrase, the clause, the sentence, or the notion of rank shifting, a new term for you, and the voice in the given text. Now, this is all important and very important and significant to understand, for the reason that it will give you the complete understanding that how the words would bring understanding and comprehension at stylistic level to you to be a stylistician. So grammar is the study of how words are organized into larger structures that convey meaning. One sentence for your background knowledge. So in stylistics, grammatical choices are not neutral. They shape tone, rhythm, focus, and even your ideology. You know, what is important, that will be discussed before or earlier in the sentence than that of the next upcoming information. The main units of grammar include the group, that is what we call phrase, the clause, and the sentence, along with related notions such as rank shifting and voice. So it means it's not only enough to know what parts of speech you are analyzing. It is also important to know that parts of speech is working what in a phrase, and then in a clause, and then in a sentence. And then collectively what kind of voice they all are creating. The group or phrase, that's the first constraint we are going to talk about today, is a unit in grammar that is larger than a word, or that is more than a single word but smaller than a clause. It is a cluster of words that function together, such as noun, that is noun phrase, that is verb phrase, adjectival phrase, or a prepositional phrase. So it means verbial phrase as well. So if it is so, what actually they are doing? They do not contain verb other than if the group contains the verb inside it as a verbial phrase. For example, a host of golden daffodils. You remember the word line. I take the same example so that you might memorize it fully. Here the noun group consists of the head noun host, expanded by the phrase of golden daffodils. A host of golden daffodils. The noun that gives the upbringing or upgradation of daffodils in the form of golden daffodils. The light blue cat of great talent in a tree diagram as given on your screen would also be an example of your noun phrase. What is the stylistic significance of this group or any kind of group? The choice of host personifies flowers as an army or gathering, creates grandeur and vitality, unity and collectiveness. The adjective golden enriches what imagery? It makes the description more vivid. So it does mean what? That these all combination of words, golden daffodils or the host, they develop the sense that what is coming next as well. The clause is our next destination. A clause is a unit containing a subject and a predicate of its own. So it means clauses can be a part of your long string of sentences. Clauses may be independent or dependent. Independent clause can be called as a main clause, and dependent clause are always called subordinate clauses. For example, my heart leaps up when I behold a rainbow in the sky. The main clause is my heart leaps up, and the subordinate clause is when I behold a rainbow in the sky. Same is the case with the dependent and independent construction. When they occur together in a sentence, they would form a kind of a sentence. We will talk about just upcoming information. Stylistic significance of the clause is that it expresses the sudden emotion, while the subordinate clause, it's all about main clause, and subordinate clause situates it in the moment of perception. So it means it is taken understood that it is the next information than that of the previous one. This balance between emotion and perception creates harmony between self and nature, as in the given example. So the sentence is what? a sentence is the largest grammatical unit except or beyond the level of a paragraph consisting of one or more clauses. So, it means a sentence can be of a single clause, it can be a collection of many clauses inside it. Sentences may be simple, compound or complex. Two types of sentences or sentence construction are notable to be defined over here. One is paratactic construction and hypotactic construction. We call it parataxis or hypotaxis as well. Let us say for example, if we have a line, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. No conjunction is used, then that of or except of a single comma, as in Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. It is a compound sentence that is made up of a parallel independent clauses and is called paratactic construction. It also creates cumulative sentence construction that is also known as loose sentence. It means the combination of independent and dependent would create a construction which we call cumulative construction of a sentence. Like for example, a type of a sentence what we call compound complex construction. He who works hard succeeds is an example of principal and dependent clause that develops the hypotactic construction, and for sure it is your cumulative as well, because he succeeds is your main clause, who works hard, that is dependent clause is embedded in an independent clause, develops your cumulative sentence. The stylistic significance of it is the repetition and balance of clauses foregrounds the contrast, dramatizing the historical moment and gives the text a memorable rhythm. If you just memorize, he who works hard succeeds. So, stop here and let us analyze many of the slogans that work out on your television screen or on your social media and explore that what kind of construction they have. This is your observation, this is the work that you may do as your home task as well. Why? Because the way you observe the language, that will give you and bring the more exposure to your syntactic level analysis. And this level is important, as I told you, because if you would be erroneous in your syntactic construction to be explored from of the given text, definitely that would be a wrong perception for all the upcoming information you are developing about the text. So, this is the basic unit that you need to master for stylistic analysis. As a stylistician, do you want to be a stylistician? Yes, you need to be. Fine. So, moving on from word level to sentence level is very important to master. For sentence level, we also need to memorize that what kind of sentences we could have in a text. Yes, you may define a sentence at the level of its types, like for example, from descriptive to negative interrogative, the imperative moods, and within imperatives we have different moods like requests, like we have commands, like we have pleads, like we have suggestions, and many more. And then we could have optative sentences as well. So, master all the information about a sentence if you want to explore the sentence level as a syntactic level device in stylistic analysis. Okay, next our category is rank shifting. What is the rank shifting? It occurs when a grammatical unit is embedded within another unit of the same or lower rank. I have discussed it, clause within clause construction, and this is for example a clause functioning inside another clause or a phrase within another phrase. For example, the man who wore a red scarf entered the room. Here the relative clause who wore a red scarf is embedded within the noun group the man. So, it means the man would give the impression to the one who wore a red scarf and entered the room. The stylistic significance of rank shifting is that it concises the details It provides further description without breaking the flow. And in literary text, these are more common things which we can observe. It often gives density and layered meaning. Meaning within meanings can only be created through rank shifting. What does we mean by the first clause and then the next clause, and why they are embedded? So, multiple meanings would be there for rank shifting property. The fifth one is the voice of the text. Voice, we all are familiar, refers to the relationship between subject and object in a clause. We referred it to active voice and passive voice in our grammar, the two main types of your grammatical construction of a sentence. You all are familiar. Example could be the boy chased the dog, or the dog was chased by the boy, the previous example of your previous lecture, which provides that the earlier information emphasizes or points out the subject more than that of the agent. In the first one, the agent was the boy. In the second one, it was the dog, making the sentence dynamic and direct in the first one, while the passive voice foregrounds the object that creates formality and shifting focus. It means it shifts the focus of your interpretation and perception. Writers use voice to manipulate emphasis, and journalists may use passive voice to obscure agency. Very interesting one for me, because I used to read newspapers, so I observed the language of newspaper quite as a stylistician. For example, students make mistakes. Mistakes are made. While poets may use it for rhythm or ambiguity, the writers use it to hide the information. And why the newspapers need it? They need it not to nominate any one victim or not to nominate the agent of the action. The voice are fundamental units of grammar to create ambiguity or to create the self-perception of the reader. In stylistic analysis, they reveal how writers construct meaning in the minds of their readers and highlight the certain idea and shape the reader's response. I already said that journalists develop the news for their own purpose to be developed. From Wordsworth's lyrical clauses to Dickens' rhythmic sentences, grammatical choices are integral to literary style, while in non-literary texts, they often serve clarity, precision, or persuasion. And we have an example of our social media language, which uses the more elliptical form of syntactic category rather than to be expressive and to be descriptive in its nature. Now, in this one communicative and the global English age, the social media language does not pay attention, as a non-literary text, does not pay attention to the syntactic level to be offered in each and every text, rather than they focus what they want to convey to their target audience. For sure, they have a stylistic importance at graphic level, at graphological level, and for sure at syntactic level. That is needed to be explored, and for sure that would be a part of your upcoming lectures as well. Till the time we observe it through our text. Have a nice day. Stay blessed.